بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. We continue our study of al-Halqah al-Thaniyah. As you remember, we were talking about how much we can establish when we follow al-adilla al-muhraza. Is it only about ad-dalala al-mutabaqiyya, or it can also be extended to ad-dalalatul iltizamiyya? We said ad-dalalatul mutabaqiyya is word by word meaning, iltizam is by implication. Okay? We said there are two views. One is the view of majority or great number of ulama, mashhur, which is very famous among ulama, it's a very popular view, and that is we can understand from the same references that indicate hujjiyya, validity of dalil muhraz, we can understand from it that dalil al-madlul al-mutabaqi is hujjah, al-madlul al-iltizam is hujjah. The same dalil for both of them. When you say khabar wahid is hujjah, so whatever that person has said, you can trust, and what is implied by what he said also is hujjah. But there is another view, which is the view of the late Ayatollah Khoui, who was teacher of Sheikh Saad, says Sayyid al-Ustad, and that is that because it is shari', it is the lawmaker who is granting hujjiyah to this, because khabar wahid by itself is not hujjah, it's not like yaqeen, it's dhan. So shari' is granting hujjiyah to khabar wahid. Then it is up to him to decide to what extent. Maybe he can just allocate hujjiyah to al-madlul al-mutabaqi, maybe he can allocate to both. Of course, just in mind, it's possible that he also allocates to just madlul al-iltizami, but it doesn't make sense. No one, would say the literal meaning, what was said is not hujjah, only what is implied is hujjah. So this is not, but because it is up to him, he can decide. So these are two views we mentioned. Then we reached the paragraph where Shaykh Sadr himself wants to choose. He said, "As-sahihu wal ittijahul awwal." The correct view is the first approach, and that is to say, dalil al-muhraz is hujjah with respect to both madlul al-mutabaqi and madlul al-iltizam. وَذَلِكَ. Why? What is the reason for this? Briefly, his argument is this. He says, in dalil al-muhraz, like amarat, what is there is kashafiyya. It's different from usul amali. In usul amali, we just want to know our duty. It is not showing what is reality. It's not discovering or unveiling hukm waqi'i. But in dalil muhraz, like amarat, we have kashafiyya. Means it's kashafiyya means it discovers, it unveils waqi'. So it's a way to have access to waqi'. Okay? So If it is hujjah, means that Shari has accepted this as kashif, as something that discovers waqi'. If you have discovered waqi', then all its implications also come. For example, if I tell you that so and so is in this room, and you can discover his existence from what I have said, then it is like you yourself seeing him in the room. So when you see him in the room, can you say, I only see him in the room, but I cannot understand anything by implication? You can understand that he is not at home. You can understand that, for example, he is, I don't know, not talking, for example, with someone because he's alone, for example. These are things that you can understand by implication. So, as-sahihu huwa al-ittijahu al-awwal, the correct view is the first approach. وَذَلِكَ لَأَنَّنَا عَرَفْنَا سَابِقًا أَنَّ الْأَمَارَةَ مَعْنَاهَا الدَّلِيلُ الظَّنِّي. We have understood before that amara is the sign which is used to indicate the hukm waqi'. معناها الدليل الظني, he explains himself. It's the reference which is dhanni. It's not decisive or certain. It's not qat'i. It's dhanni. It's less than 100%. Of course, more than 50%, but less than 100. الذي يستظهر من دليل حجيته أن تمام الملاك بحجيته هو كشفه. From the same reference that indicates validity of this amara, we can understand. Istidhar means we can bring out of this ma'na zahiri, means we can discover from this that all milak, all the criterion, all the basis of its validity is what? Kashfu. Why this amara is hujjah? Because Shari has accepted this to be discovering the reality for us. Pardon? Yes. بدون النظر إلى نوع المنكشف. Without having any concern about what is discovered, what is unveiled. Shara says, listen to a reliable person. Saddiq, khabar al-thiqah. This doesn't have anything to do with the content or what is said, what is understood from that person. Khabar al-thiqah is hujjah, means it is as if you know yourself. Then its mutabaqi is hujjah, its iltizami is also hujjah. وهذا الاستظهار متى ما تم في دليل الحجية. If this meaning which we are trying to draw out of it is complete in the reference which indicates validity, it would be sufficient. كان كافيا لإثبات الحجية في المدلولات الالتزامية. It is sufficient to be able to prove validity with respect to those things which are understood by implication. Why? لأن النسبة كشف الأمارة إلى المدلول المطابق والالتزامي بدرجة واحدة دائما. Because when this is hujjah, it has the same relation with mutabaqi and with iltizami. It indicates both of them, the same degree, the same level. وما دام الكشف هو تمام الملاك للحجية بحسب الفرد. As long as discovering and unveiling is the only basis and criterion for validity as we have supposed, فَيُعْرَفُ مِنْ دَلِيلِ الْحُجِّيَّةِ أَنَّ مُثْبَتَاتِ الْأَمَارَ كُلُّهَا حُجَّةٌ. So from the reference that indicated hujjiyah of this amara, we understand that whatever is also proved with amara is valid. This is different from usul amaliyah. If you remember, we said usul amaliyah, musbatat, those things that are understood by implication are not hujjah. Okay? على خلاف ذلك الأصول العملية. Opposite to this is practical principles. تنزيلية أو غيرها. Whether those, inshallah, we will talk about usul amaliyah later in Halqah Thaniyah, also this discussion about it. But usul amaliyah can be tanzili or غير tanzili. Means sometimes the focus is only on duty. Sometimes somehow you assume that maybe this is the hukm, maybe this is the waqi, just as a kind of assumption. In any case, in usul amaliyah, in practical principles, what is important is what is given, not kashafiyah. So the focus goes on the content, not discovering. If it is discovering, reality is known to you and everything comes. لما كان مبنية على ملاحظة نوع المدعى كما تقدم فلا يمكن أن يستفاد من دليلها إسراء التعبد إلى كل اللوازم إلا بعناية خاصة في لسان الدليل. So it's not possible to understand from the reference for hujjiyah of usul amaliyah that our commitment, our devotion, our obedience should be extended to all the implications. Unless بعناية خاصة في لسان الدليل. Unless there is something in that reference which indicates that you have to take it 100%, you have to assume that as if the reality is this. That's different. He will talk about it later again. وَمِنْ هُنَا قِيلَ, and because of this it has been said, it is famous, إِنَّ الْأُصُولَ الْعَمَلِيَّةِ لَيْسَتْ حُجَّةً فِي مُثْبَتَاتِهَا. Usul amaliyah are not valid, are not authoritative with respect to muthbatat. What does it mean, muthbatat? Means those things that by implication can be understood from them. Okay? For example, a person was married to someone. This man, the husband, has disappeared. Now, she wants to know whether she can marry or not. So, if we accept that we can do istishab, we can do istishab of marriage. Means she should continue supposing that she is married unless it is proved otherwise. So she do istishab of marriage. But can we understand from this that her husband is alive? You may say, yes, because by implication, if she's still married, so it means that the husband must be alive. But they say, no, this is implication. You cannot go that far. We can just go as much as that hukm is concerned. what is understood by implication? No. Okay? So, sometimes they say it briefly, they say asl musbat is not hujjah. Asl musbat. Asl musbat. Or as he says, muthbatatul usul al-amaliyah. It's the same thing. Means whatever is understood from usul al-amaliyah by implication, it's not valid. وسيأتي تفصيل الكلام عن ذلك في أبحاث الأصول العملية إن شاء الله. A detailed discussion would come inshallah about this when we are talking about usul al-amaliyah. Okay. Now, the discussion is over about this issue, and the result is that he prefers that we say in amarat both madlul mutabiqi and madlul iltizami are hujjah. Now we have another question. If both madlul mutabiqi and madlul iltizami are hujjah, are they hujjah independently, or madlul mutabiqi depends on madlul iltizami depends on madlul mutabiqi? Mutabiqi means the meaning which is literal meaning, exactly corresponds to the term. So did you get the question? What's the question?
Is mutabiqi on its own acceptable, or iltizami on its own?
Mutabiqi, yes.
Iltizami is acceptable.
Yes. Is iltizami acceptable on its own, or iltizami is accepted because of mutabiqi? Because of mutabiqi. So because madlul mutabiqi is like ground floor, madlul iltizami is first floor. Yeah, or in American system, first floor and second floor. Okay? So, is this made in the way that if the first floor or ground floor goes, the other floor, higher floor collapses, or it is there on its own, like as if it is another building? You may say, what's the point? Why you are discussing this? Can you guess why we discuss this? What benefit it has, this discussion? Anyway, and if both of them are hujjah, then why it matters to know whether iltizam is independent or not?
Because the ismography depends on the main meaning. And if you don't consider the main meaning, then how would you understand the implication?
Both are hujjah.
Yeah, but it is hujjah mainly because iltizami is depending on the mutabaqi.
Okay, so.
But if the mutabaqi is not there,
why it's not there?
If you don't understand the mutabaqi, then how do you understand the iltizam?
Then none of them is there. You are getting close. You know, sometimes what happens is that there is a conflict, for example, and maybe another hadith, another reason conflicts with al-madlul al-mutabaqi. So it becomes invalid. Ta'araza tasaqata. There is conflict and it becomes invalid. But if you say madlul iltizami is independent, even if mutabaqi goes, iltizami remains, because there was no conflict at the level of iltizam. But if you say it was dependent on madlul mutabaqi, when madlul mutabaqi goes, iltizami also goes. Okay? There is an example coming, but for example, like moat. Maybe this is not a bad example. Suppose someone says so and so was burnt by fire. His house was burnt by fire and he died because he was burnt. Khabar Wahid says he was burnt. And then you check with the fire department and they say there was no fire breakout. And you realize that it's not true that his house was burnt. Okay? So the madlul mutabaqi is not valid. But there was madlul iltizami, that he has died. Because he was burnt, he had died. So from his saying that he has been burnt, you realize that he has died. Now you know that he has not been burnt. So you can say, because this was khabar wahid, maybe that part was mistake, but still he has died. But maybe died because of another reason. You understand? But if you say, when madlul mutabaqi goes, iltizami also goes, this becomes totally useless, and we don't know anything about him. Did you get the point? Yes.
Very clear. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. So, تبعية الدلالة الالتزامية للمطابقية. The question is, this is the question. The title is this. دليل الدلالة الالتزامية, does it follow mutabaqi or not? Okay, the meaning by implication and the meaning which is by correspondence or the literal meaning. عرفنا أن الأمارات حجة في المدلول المطابقي والمدلول الالتزامي معا. Just now, yes, we said there are two views. The first view, which is mashhur, was preferred, that it is hujjah in both mutabaqi and iltizam. والمدلول الالتزامي تارة يكون مساويا للمدلول المطابقي وأخرى يكون أعم منه. Sometimes the meaning which is التزامي is musawi. You remember نسب أربعة تساوي ومخصوص مطلق من وجه تباين. تساوي means they are equal in their scope. If المدلول المطابقي والالتزامي are musawi, are equal in their scope, then when one of them goes, the other one definitely goes. Yeah? But if iltizami is a'am, like what I said, this is more general than being burnt. That is where the question comes. If it is burning and something which is equal to being burnt. Like for example, his skin is, for example, I don't know, damaged or something like this, then it is equal. But if mutabaqi is akhas, is narrower, then you say maybe mutabaqi is not valid, but still iltizami is valid because it has remained. Still it has something extra. A'am, more general. المدلول الالتزامي تارة يكون مساويا للمدلول المطابقي وأخرى يكون أعم. Sometimes it is more general, sometimes it's equal. في حالة المساواة, if they are equal, and we mean by equal not equal in meaning, we mean equal in a scope. Two kulli, when they completely are the same in their scope, we call them musawi. Yeah? Like insan and natiq. Insan and natiq are musawi. Yeah? Or mawjood and shay'iyah. They are musawi. ففي حالة المساواة إذا علم بأن المدلول المطابقي باطل فقد علم ببطلان المدلول الالتزامي أيضا. When they are musawi, equal, if mutabaqi is known to be false, to be batil, then iltizami also is finished because they're equal. وبذلك تسقط الأمارة بكلا مدلوليها عن الحجية. Then that amara with both meanings mutabaq and iltizami is finished. تسقط is dropped. أما إذا كان اللازم أعم, but if the meaning which is implied is more general, like death, more general than احتراق, being burned. وبطل المدلول المطابقي فالمدلول الالتزامي يظل محتملا. If mutabaqi is not there, but still there is chance that maybe iltizami is there. So this is why we have to discuss. Can we say madlul iltizami remains or not? وَمِنْ هُنَا يَأْتِي الْبَحْثُ التَّالِي. And because of this, hence this question comes. Next question, next discussion comes. That are these two independent, or iltizami relies on mutabaqi? If mutabaqi is not there, it's dropped. This also is dropped. If we say they are independent, this can be challenged and damaged or whatever, but this can remain. هو أن حجية الأمارة في إثبات المدلول الالتزامي هل ترتبط بحجيتها في إثبات المدلول المطابقي أو لا? Is the validity of amara in affirming the meaning which is by implication, is it related to its validity with affirming the meaning of words mutabaqi? Are these two related to each other or not? They are independent. فالارتباط, if we say no, they are related, and relation here means iltizami depends on mutabaqi. It cannot be the other way around. Yeah? If you say they are related, means iltizami depends on mutabaqi. فالارتباط, if there is relation, if they are linked to each other, linked, يعني أنها إذا سقطت عن الحجية في المدلول المطابقي للعلم ببطلانه مثلا سقطت أيضا عن الحجية في المدلول الالتزامي. If they are linked, so when amara is dropped from hujjiyah with respect to mutabaqi, because we know that this is false, this cannot be true, there was no fire, سقطت أيضا الأمارة, سقطت هي الأمارة عن الحجية في المدلول الالتزامي. They both go. And this is the meaning of tabaiyah. We mean by tabaiyah this, that iltizami follows mutabaqi. If mutabaqi is damaged, iltizami is damaged. If mutabaqi is dropped, that is also dropped.
It doesn't necessarily, as you said earlier, the question can reside with a different thing. If that might still remain.
Yes. So the question is, if we say iltizami means your knowledge about his death comes from your knowledge about fire. Therefore, if that is questioned, this is also questioned. But we can say, no, these are independent. We understand these two at the same time. And if one of them is damaged, the other one is still there. Okay? One way is this, yeah, because there is another evidence which is conflicting, or you have knowledge that this is not correct. You check, they said there was no fire. وعدم الارتباط فالارتباط يعني كذا وكذا. وعدم الارتباط, if we say they are not related or connected or linked, يعني أن كل من الدلالة المطابقية والدلالة الالتزامية حجة ما لم يعلم ببطلان مفادها بالخصوص, as long as we have not known that this by itself is false, it remains. Forget what happens to the other one. Okay? If we say they are not connected and linked, it means that each of them is hujjah unless you know that it is particularly damaged.
I think we finished with the last page. We don't get the 190, the first one, page 197.
You don't have 198? Okay. So inshallah we have to photocopy for you. So shall we? Let me finish this paragraph. ومجرد العلم ببطلان المدلول المطابقي لا يوجد خللا في حجية الدلالة الالتزامية ما دام المدلول الالتزامي محتملا ولم يتضح بطلانه بعده. If we say they are independent, they are not linked to each other, so when mutabaqi goes, iltizami is muhtamal, is likely, and as long as it is likely, why we should stop acting upon it? Why we should not recognize it? Why you withdraw from it? There is no reason to withdraw. So maybe I stop few minutes so we can copy for you. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.